Hey, what's up, everybody? The V Club here, otherwise known as the Villain Club. As you can see there, the Villain Club. And it's about anything and everything lifestyle, entertainment. That's what I'm all about. Alright? Anything and everything, nothing's off the table. I'm an open book. And I know that one thing that we share is that we share the same thoughts. More so than you think, right? But sometimes you can't say it. But I know what you're thinking because I think the same way too, right? And so rather than keep it to yourself, I speak for you guys out there and I know what you guys are thinking. So with all that, let's talk about it here, the V Club, Villain Club. And it's good to be bad sometimes, you know? Anyhow, I talk about anything and everything. You can see what I got going on here. Um, and so this is where it's at. All right, we're gonna get to it here. And I stepped away for a couple days off the Kamala tip, and now Kamala's back on the tip. But I want to talk about what's brewing right now with the Democrat Party, and they're falling apart, right? Because Biden is starting to let loose, all right? And why is that? Well, it's easy because the thing about Kamala right now is that she is losing. All right, she is losing. The Democrats right now are panicking. That's why they're trying to pull out all the stops and all the stuff. You could tell that it's people under them that's controlling, whether it's Biden, whether it's Harris, that they're being controlled by, if you want to call it the deep state, whatever, right? The deep state. So whatever it is that's controlling them, whether it's Pelosi, whether it's Obama, whomever, right? They're the ones calling the shots, and they're fucking up their own strategies, all right? Says that's just what it is. Thing about it is that we all know that Biden hasn't like totally been there, all right? That he's been losing it. Poor grandpa. I look at him as poor grandpa. Reminds me of a grandpa, right? Poor old fella. And he slipped big time. I mean, he's just one foot is out the door for a long time now. The other foot just needs to get there with him. And so, I mean, when you look at everything that's been going on, 10 million plus illegals, crime is out of control in the country across the board. It's underreported. We're in trillions and trillions of dollars in deficit. We're giving our money away to illegals, to other countries. We're not even helping ourselves. And they have nothing to show for, right? It's been terrible. And so some of the things that has been said, for example, when Kamala was asked, would you change a thing about what's been going on? Being that she was part of the Biden team here, and it's a double-edged sword with her, right? Because damn if you do, damn if you don't. So she had to be correct, politically correct, as to say, well, I wouldn't change a thing, right? Because of course Biden's the boss currently, and to undermine the boss, well, that's going to really screw her, right? But at the same time, she's trying to set herself apart from Biden by being the so-called change candidate, and it's really biting her in the ass because how can she be a change candidate or a step forward or a step whatever it is that they try to go on when one, she's a Democrat, right? If Biden's a Democrat, she's a Democrat. Her beliefs and morals and all that stuff is of what she believes in, which kind of follows the line of being progressive Democrats, like Biden, then she's going to stick to that, right? So that's that. That's not going to change. So how is she going to change, even though she's trying to pander and do all this shit to act like she's going to be a benefit to everybody and to be the candidate for everybody for America, when we all know that she's not going to do a damn thing. She's not going to change. She's failed in so many ways, more than one. And so they're desperate right now. So what do? They went from basement candidate, Kamala went from a basement candidate, no interviews, till the interview didn't go so well, right? Stacking the deck. Everybody saw that the moderators, including her, were ganging up on Trump with the debate. Then you saw the VP debate again when there was supposed to be no, questioning, none of that stuff from the moderators, yet they still did it to J.D. Vance, which was called out on, and it looked bad once again. Plus, Tim Walz sucks. So, with all that, it's been bad, right? Then, when you look at what's been going on, while she goes and fundraises in California, Joe Biden's taking an extended vacation because he's just really trying to, he's a lame duck president. He got kicked to the curb. He's just trying to just bide his time to get out, right? Try to do as little as possible and get out. But then you have a war in the Middle East, and you could say Western Europe, right, with Russia and Ukraine. Then you look at the hurricanes that's just occurred, Helene and Milton, right, where they didn't respond to Helene till like a week later. And of course, it's always after Trump does first, right? Then you look at Milton, where it was handled by Governor DeSantis since it hit Florida. What does Kamala do? She tried to interject herself to something that VPs typically don't do, but she's trying to act like she's presidential in doing, and she got called out on that. So then, again, the Democrats are getting desperate. They're telling her to go around on a national circuit interview tour, going to different shows like the Chick Show, I forgot what they call her, to pander to young women, to go to The View, Howard Stern, Colbert, all flops and duds, right? Then they whip out Clinton and Obama to really help spice up the campaigning because she's failing, and it's still looking bad, right? Everything is still looking bad because they know it's bad. And you know what else has happened and what's been brewing? There's a little bit of a secret war going on right now between Biden and Kamala in itself, because because in the end, Biden is a control freak, right? Believe it or not. And he knows he got cooed out of there, right? Got forced out by coup, right? And because of Pelosi and all the other Democrats, when they were calling him out to step down, what do you think they were doing? They were underlying, threatening him that this is your legacy. Either you step down or we'll kick you out, right? And we'll make you look bad. And he's, spent, 50 plus years, something like that, in government. And so he wants to have a legacy, obviously. And so rather than have a messy situation, he stepped aside. But he was forced to step aside. All right, and now he's starting to unravel because he's doing things that's really kind of undermining Kamala's campaign, as it headlines there. And it's funny as hell. And it's almost like karma is a bitch, right? Kamala is a bitch. Karma is a bitch. And that's what's happening there. Because it is karma is a bitch, right? Because she's failing. And if she does lose, what do you think Biden's going to do? He's going to say, you should have left me in there. I'm the only one that's beaten Trump. And in his mind, he's going to believe that he can beat him again. Even though he won't, because he's ran a terrible term these last 4 years. But he's been a president that, in his mind, can believe he could beat Trump. All right? Which he technically has beaten Trump, right? I mean, not technically, he has. All right? So, all this is just blowing up in the Democrats' face. They know that what they're up against. They're up against a red tidal wave right now in Trump, and they keep continuing to get stronger and stronger and stronger, whereas Kamala's getting weaker and weaker and weaker. And guess what? Guess what's happening? Kamala's going to do an interview on Fox, of all places, finally, as time is winding down. She's done her interview circuit, went on a lot of softball interviews. The toughest interview to date looks like it's from 60 Minutes, right? CBS 60 Minutes, where she was asked some tough questions. And, some of the questions she was asked 2, 3 times because she wasn't giving a definitive answer. And so she went through a tougher interview, right? And the more she talks, the more bad she looks, right? It's just bad. You could tell that she's a scripted BSer, and she really relies on the same thoughts, concepts, and what has been, what do you call it, memorized, right? Throughout her so-called campaigning. But now that she's taken interviews, her answers are still like what she studied, because she would just the way she would answer is she will revert back to all the key concepts that she's memorized in some way, shape, and form. And so that's not really a real way to campaign. It doesn't make you look genuine at all whatsoever. So it'll be interesting to see if she'll get some hard questions and if they're going to really put her through the ringer, because this is the chance to finally squash her once and for all through some tough questioning and be relentless on her to answer those questions for a change, because she has not once answered questions but has tiptoed around the answering of questions since she was first became the candidate to be president. But everything about her is wrong, right? From being a so-called change candidate to not getting one primary vote to be placed as the president to be, right? They didn't go through a primary. So how do you know that she would have been the best candidate for the Democrats at the time, right? They installed her through the coup of Biden. The Democrat border security bill was terrible, and she said she's going to sign that thing on day one. Are you kidding me? It's a terrible, terrible plan, because it still allows illegals to come in. It puts limits, but through executive order, they could raise those limits, right? It adds trillions more to deficit with all their handouts. It would definitely not do anything about a border wall. Yeah, it would hire more border patrol agents, but not as much as HR2. But it still hire some border security or border patrol agents. And terrible economy, terrible inflation. We all know she says she never banned fracking, or she has never will do it. We all know she will not do any fracking at all in this presidential term. She's gonna just let it talk it out throughout her term, but will sidestep it or just not do it at all. So she's not gonna do fracking. She's definitely not gonna do anything that's gonna stop illegals from coming in. So just think about that. All right. What can she really do for the country? I mean, it's looking really bad on what she can do for the country, because if she says she's not gonna, she can't think of a thing she would change about Biden and how it's been run the last 4 years. That really tells you that she doesn't really see what's truly happening, and that these 4 years have been really bad. That she's going to continue to support what's already been established. So, all at the same time, like I was saying, the Democrats are ripping at the seams right now with everything they're trying to do to make her look like she's presidential. She's not. She's not looking presidential at all. I don't see how you can vote for her. All right, because they're just going to keep on running on the same old bullshit, and they're going to tear this country down even more if she's president. And you have Tampon Tim as the VP. Think about this. Why is there a reason to have tampons in boys' bathrooms? All right? Because we all know that most transgenders, for example, or wannabe females, don't go to female bathrooms, okay? So they go to male bathrooms, but they still have male genitalia. So what would they do with that tampon if they're a transgender person? Shove it up their ass? I mean, come on, right? Think about that. You can't put it in your penis. The only other place you could put it is up your ass, but how does that be any good up your ass? I mean, I'm just asking. I don't know. And if you think that girls want to be boys, you think they still go to boys' bathrooms? No, they go to girl bathrooms because they look more like what we used to term as tomboys, right? You know, that's what they used to term them as back then. And they would still go to girls' bathrooms. So what's the point of having tampons in boys' bathrooms? All right, now I just wanted to get that out there. There's a inner secret war brewing within the Democrat Party right now because Biden is unhappy. I think it's finally got to him that, you know what, he's bothered by how he got forced out and Kamala's losing right now, because it's making him look and think that, you know what, should have kept me in place. I can beat Trump, right? Because especially if she fails, oh man, you know what he's going to be talking about if Kamala doesn't get elected? Oh man, he's going to just open up and let all that information out like a madman. And so that's what's going to happen. He's keeping his mouth shut for now because he's forced to. But man, if she loses, oh man, he's going to let loose. He's going to let it rip. But yeah, so that's all the news you're seeing everywhere. Rift between Biden and Kamala's Harris camps. They're all talking. It's talking about everywhere. It's what's happening. So bad that even Saturday Night Live is mocking the VP, which is crazy, but not so crazy because it's terrible. So something to think about. It's looking bad, real bad. But you got to do the right thing. Know who you're voting for. Know that Harris is not going to change anything in this country from where it's at right now. If in fact, I think it's going to be the same in terms of maintaining Biden policies, or she's going to turn it up a few notches progressively, and it's gonna go crazy here in the U.S. All right, Green New Deal bullshit, the wars that are ongoing across the world, the open borders, the you name it, higher cost of everything. It's bad. It's going to be real bad. And man, all I got to say is if that's going to be the case, you're going to get what you voted for. All right, so that's my latest on everything. I just wanted to kind of catch up on what's transpired over the last couple days. And that's what's happened now, right? Was it a mistake or snub? We all know he feels like he got snubbed. All right. All right, poor grandpa. Comment down below, subscribe, hit the bell icon. Thanks. I'll see you next one.